Hey, what is going on, guys? TheKnowee here, and in today's video we are going to make our wonderful game manager state machine work. That is right, so we're going to make this awesome bit of code we made last video actually work. So first things first, we need to start activating all of this wonderful UI we made. So let's get that started. So we head into our code here, and in our begin state we want to be able to show our menu, right? So in start, right, we want to be able to have our thing, so we're going to put switch state, and then we're going to have state menu, so that we initialize the game with the menu screen. Okay, so now whenever we press the play button, we'll have the start state actually show it. Then in end state, whenever we end the menu state, we need to switch state. There we go. Alright, no, we need to set the panel. So we bring up the menu state, and then in the menu state we need to set the panel active. So we need to do panel menu, and then whenever we put that, we need to do .set active, so that we can set it active. Okay, and then we need to initialize it as true, so we're gonna put it as true. So whenever we start the game, we're gonna switch the state to the menu, and then whenever we're in the begin state, we're gonna set the menu to true. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing down here, except menu, we're gonna set it active, but we're gonna have it as false. There we go. So now our menu, whenever we begin and we press play, we're gonna go into the menu state. We're gonna set the menu to be true, and then whenever we exit the menu state, we should be able to set it false. Boom. Hold on, let's scooch this back over here so we have a better view of our game. Here we go, and now we have our panel menu showing. We have our play button, but our play button doesn't do anything, it just kind of exists. So now we're going to need to build some more state machine in order to make all of that work. Alright, so now we need to go to our init, right? So in our init state, we need to switch to the init, right? So what we need to do is we need to tell the button what to do whenever we have it clicked. So let's make a method and name it play clicked. So play clicked. We need a void. So void play clicked. It was yelling at me there. There we go. Okay, now it's not going to yell at me. Then we need to have this to be switch state. Then we need to have it state dot init. I also want to make this a public method. You guys will see why in just a second. So we want to make this a public method, the play clicked, right? So now we're going to head over to Unity, and we need to go to our button. And in our button, let's increase the size of this so you guys can see it a little bit better. You'll see on this on click thing right here, so we're going to press the plus, right? And then we're going to drag in the button. Oh no, not the button, I'm kidding, the game manager. So we need to bring in the game manager, and then we're going to bring in the game manager. We need to bring in the play clicked method. Okay, so if you go to your canvas, open it up, panel menu, button, then on click, you're going to click the plus sign. In here, you're going to drag your game manager, and then on this drop down here, you're going to go to game manager, play clicked. Okay, so now we can shrink that down a bit. Let's go ahead and save. So now, whenever we click the play button, right? So now that we have it as an event, so this is now an event, we can have it so that this happens. So play clicked, when your play is clicked, it's going to switch to the initializing state. Does that make sense? So now that we have that working, we don't want we want to set the level completed and all the other stuff as well. So it's going to be a lot of the same thing, right? So for like level completed, load level, and game over and stuff like that, all of that stuff, we're going to want to set these panels true in accordance. So in our initializing here, we're going to set our panel play to be true. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy, Control C, and then down here, actually we're not going to put it in the initializing phase, we're going to put it in game over, Control V, and we're going to set this to false, because when the game's over, that's when we want the play screen to go away, because we want to be able to see our play screen until, well, we're done. We die, basically we lose. So now let's do the same thing for level completed. So panel, nope, not panel play. That's gonna be the other panel. Level completed, and then we're gonna do set active true. Same thing, Control C. And then in our end state, load level, or level completed. Set that to false. And then for game over, we want to do the panel dot game over set active true. And then same thing, Control C, and then down here, Control V, we are going to set that to false. So what we did is we set all of our panels to be activated during their specific points in the game. So whenever we're in the menu, we're going to have our menu showing. Whenever we're in the initializing, we're going to have the play panel show up. We need to have we have the level completed stuff. We have the load level, or the level game over stuff set. So that's pretty good. We got most of it good. So now that we have that, we need to get our actual our score to work in the code. I'm sorry, I just absolutely wasn't able to English there for a second. So above here, we're gonna double enter, and I'm gonna type, just follow along with me here. So we're gonna name this prop full. Double tap tab, and then in the variable, we want to rename it to score, right? And then our property, we're going to make this to score, right? And don't worry, I will explain this. Now we need to do the same thing for the balls. So prop full, tab, rename the variable to balls, and then the my property to balls. And then one more. Prop full, tab. My variable. We're going to name this to level. And then we're going to make this level. Oh, not level slash. There it goes. Okay. There it goes. Now it's happy. Alright. And then we can close it up one. There we go. So basically what these prop fulls are is they get variables and then they can edit them, right? So now what we need to do is we use the prop fulls is whenever we edit a text from another script, we want to be able to store the correct information, and this is basically like a storing thing. This basically allows us to store information within this script and then get it from another script. So now in the public integer for score, we need to actually set it up so that it can update. So in the public version of the score, right? Let's actually make it so that this is in so it can set it. So we need to put it in the set part of this, right? We're gonna do score text, and then we're gonna set that equal to, and then we needed to set this to score as the thing here, because we want it to be exactly how we typed it up in our thing, right? And then we need to have that plus the score. So our score text dot text is equal to the score, so it's gonna be it's gonna set to the score, and it's gonna add that score. Make sense? So the score text dot text is equal to score, which is, if we look in play text score, this is gonna be set to this, so score all caps. So we set that there, and then it's gonna add whatever the current score is, right? Does that make sense? Make sure you put this in set before this brace, okay? So you're gonna put it right after this comma, or this caret, and then put in this set of code, okay? So now we can actually set the score. And now, if you guys remember in bricks, we have a section here where we want to score points. We can make it work now. So we're not going to have it so that if you hit it, we want it to, whenever you destroy it, or whenever you do equal the hits to 0, you score points. Okay? So we will need to access the game manager script, and there's two ways of accessing the game manager script. There's two big ways of accessing this script, okay? I'm going to teach you how to do it in a more simple way, and then there's the like a little bit more of an intermediate version of this, all right? And the easier way is using a singleton, and a lot of pros are going to be like, how dare you, don't use singletons in your code, because singletons, they are a little complicated, but since we're doing such a small, easy game with not much accessibility between scripts, like the only thing that's happening is a codependency between the game manager and brick, and that's fine, so we can use a singleton and get away with it. But a lot of people are still going to be like, how dare you? And then there's another way, which is putting this entire script into a namespace, and then having brick access the namespace, and then you can access any bit of this code, as long as it's in a namespace. But of course, that's way more complicated. I don't want to have to take you through how to make a namespace. So we're just going to keep it simple with a singleton. So we're going to make a singleton. Okay, even though pros are going to be like, how dare you, we're going to still do a singleton. So we're going to put a singleton in. So we're going to make a public game, public static, and this is going to be the game manager. Alright, so we're making a public static game manager, and then we're going to name it instance. And then we're going to have it get, and then we need a private, because we don't want it set anywhere else other than where we want it. We want it privately set. Okay? So now with this public, with this singleton, this basically whatever we want to do, now we want to put instance equals this. Instance equals this. Basically, so that we have it set in here. And then in brick, now that we have that all set up, we want to do game manager.instance, right? Yes, it's going to yell at you, but don't worry. It's okay, right? So and now we want to access the score. So score.score, not score text.score, and then plus equals points. So the game manager, it's going to get access to the game manager. The instance, now it's going to get access to the score, and then we're going to add the points whenever we destroy a brick. And if you guys remember, right, in our Unity here, we made our bricks. So we head over to the prefabs. They have number of hits and how many points they award you. So this will work now, but we can't exactly break the bricks yet because we haven't instantiated the ball and the player. So let's do that. So back over to the game manager. Now in our init state, we want to be able to instantiate our player, and we want to instantiate all of the score text. So let's head down to the begin state in the init, right? So let's go ahead and set our score to 0. So we're gonna do set. Right, so we need to get access to all of these things, right? So we get all of that information. Okay. I'm sorry I had to put on a little bit of an access there. So we're gonna do score. We're gonna set that to 0. We're gonna get balls, and we're gonna have you have 3 lives. Okay, so you get 3 balls, 3 lives. And then we're going to initialize the level at 1. Alright? Whenever you start the game, you are at level 1. Alright? Actually, let's just put you at level 0. Level 0. Okay? Now we need to reinstantiate the ball and the player. So we're going to do instantiate. Instance, not instance. Instantiate. There we go. Instantiate. Oh goodness. Player. Prefab. So in our init state, we set set the panel play to active. Then we set all of our scores, our texts, and then we instantiate the player prefab. And now we can switch state. We can switch our state to state dot load level. So basically what we just did, to catch you guys up, alright, we got more to go. So what we did was we made propfuls, which is storage of these score texts, and it's allowed to be edited from outside the script. We created a singleton so that this is only set, so you can get access to it, but it's only set within here. So then Brick can call on this score and edit it whenever a brick is broken and award those points properly. We made all of our panels become active during their respective points in the game. So whenever we start the game, you have your menu. Whenever you start initializing the game, you activate your play panel, you set all your scores, you instantiate your player, and then you're going to start loading your level. Level completed, you see your level completed screen. Game over, you see your game over screen. And then whenever it's done, of course, you want to turn them off. Make sense? Cool. So now we're going to go to load level, but we don't have anything in load level just yet. So now in order to make in order to load a level, we actually need to prefab our level in general. So if you guys remember, we made a level 1, right? Hold on, zoom in on the level 1 here. So we made a level 1. So let's prefab level 1. So now it is prefabbed, and we can safely delete it from the scene. Don't worry. If you guys don't know, if you drag in a prefab, it is just where it was. It's exactly how you had it in the game. So don't freak out. If once you prefab it, it is safe. Okay? So now we need to make a public property for the levels in the inspector. And so we can go ahead and take care of that. So we need to put a public game object in our game manager here. So let's head back over here in our public section here. Let's add a public game object, and we're going to name it levels. levels, and we need it to be an array, so we're gonna make it levels array, or it's game object array. So we want it to be an array, and then we want to name it levels. All right, so this is an array of game objects. So now, and since it's public, we made it public to the inspector. We head over to the game manager. We get this little levels drop down here. And what size means, hold on, let's pull out my notorious pen of penmanship. There we go. Here's my pen. We take a look at size. All right, what the heck is size? Basically, this is saying how big you want the array, right? So we can just drag and drop level right here, and it'll add it. So now it's a one size array, and the element that it has. So the size is how big the array is, and then the element is basically everything that is in the array. So if we have 2, right? So our array size is 2. Element 1 is level 1, and then element 2 would be level 2. Make sense? I hope so. So now that we made a public way to actually get the levels, all right. So we got our pen already here. So now we actually want to be able to see everything work, right? So we need to make a level 2. So let's make a level 2. So let's go ahead and go into level 1. Let's go ahead and duplicate level 1. So Control D, level 1. That's going to automatically name it level 2. And then let's also duplicate our brick. So get out of there, duplicate the brick. Just going to name it brick 1. Let's name this red brick. And then let's also go ahead and make a new material. We're going to name it red brick. Let's head over here to the color, make it like super red, darker red. All right. And then let's add some metallicness to it. And then some smoothness to it. There we go. That's a very cool looking red. Head over here to our prefab red brick. And then drag in our red brick. Ooh, that looks cool. I like that. Also, if you guys don't know, if you guys open up a prefab of a brick, our brick prefab here, and then if you need to change the material from one material to another, you can click and drag this material to the material section of the mesh renderer. So materials, you get one material, element 0, drag in your red brick right there. So now our brick is red, and since it's its own independent thing, we can make it different. So let's make it 2 hits and award you 200 points whenever it is broken. So now this brick will allow us to hit it twice, get that cool flashy effect. So remember, brick 1 only takes 1 hit. It's just going to poof whenever we break it or whenever we hit it. And then brick number 2, we're going to have it be hit twice. So it'll activate that cool flash, that hit material, and it'll award you more points. So now let's open up element or level 2. And one of the cool things is if you guys are really wanting to get into the editing system, so put in your level 2, and then head in here, and then whenever you, let's say I want to get rid of this section, it'll show you on the game what it looks like because it auto-save. So let's get rid of a bunch of bricks here, right? And then let's move over this little section here to about the middle. And then let's drop in our new brick to the scene. Right, let's reset the transform. Move it over. It's going to yell at me for my scale, so we're going to revert the scale. Okay, so that the scale's right. And then now we're going to move it to a proper spot, so let's push it in. Yeah, that looks right. All right, we're going to scooch it up just a tad. All of these bricks are up 0.1. That's so weird. Why are all of these bricks up 0.1? That's not, no. We don't want that. Jesus. Oh no, why is it like that? Oh no. Okay, so quick fix. If you ever have a catastrophe like this, just go ahead and commit death to all of them, to your bricks. And then reset that, and then revert the scale. And then let's make a cool little level. So let's make a level 2. So in level 2, we don't have the walls or anything, but we do have the walls down here with the game screen. So this is why you want both of them up, is so now we can make a pretty cool level. So let's drag this thing up to 5. I accidentally held the wrong thing there. Put it at 10. Okay. Now again, let's make a cool little, oh, where'd it go? There it is. Okay, so level 2, Control D. And then Control D. Again. And again. And then one more time. And then let's make like a cool thing going on here. So let's do that. Now let's scooch these all the way over here. There we go. Okay, good enough. And let's drag in our blue bricks, zero them out. Drag this baby up to around 10. And then do that kind of that same thing, Control D. Quickly make ourselves a little bit of a level here. Again, you guys do not have to make your level as like mine. You guys can make yours however you would please. Make yours different as much as you want. Do some cool stuff, like how I'm doing with mine. I'm adding some originality to the level itself, so like there we go. And let's scooch this line in. And scooch this in. Same thing. And then let's make all of our blue bricks have like layerism to them. Have a space. There we go. And then like this little section has extra, and then this little section has some extra. There we go. That's a cool, pretty cool level 2. So now we have a level 2. And then it'll auto save level 2, so we can safely delete it. So now you guys can see down here, we have a level 2. Game Manager, Levels, and then drag in level 2. Now it'll have level 1 and level 2 to it. Now, we can, before we can actually see if it works, we need to actually drag in our player and our ball prefabs. We haven't instantiated them properly yet, so we need to bring in the player prefab and the ball prefab. There we go. And now let's save. So let's see if it works. Let's press play. Click play. Boom. Here's our player, right? And now we haven't told it to instantiate the level, so don't freak out that it's just our little player. Because, see, we have the score, we have the ball, and we have the level, right? We need to set it so that these are all edited as well. So our score is set, as you guys can see, score, and then a little apostrophe, and then the 0. So that is working. We need to do the same thing for ball and level, so it'll set those levels and how many balls you have. But that is pretty awesome that we have it going like this. So we have it so that the game machine will start the game. It'll push up our menu screen. We can press play, and it'll load up. It'll instantiate our player where we want it to be. And then in the next video, we're gonna have it so that the level loads, the ball, our ball prefab loads, and that our ball text and our level text will also be edited. So if you guys are excited for that, be sure to tune in to the next video because we're going to be finishing up this game state machine. So if you guys are excited, be sure to tune in, and I hope to see you guys there. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to give it a like. If you have questions or concerns, be sure to leave a comment down below and I'll get to you as soon as possible. And other than that, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.